Hello, everyone, and welcome to the third episode of Success Lab. And I am Dr. Arif Pyarali, Director Training Solution Learning Minds, and your host. And this is Success Lab powered by Learning Minds. And today we have another best-selling author for your intellectual enlightenment. This particular author has over 11 years of experience and speaking in 46 countries and over 5 continents. Yes, it's a she. She has been the publisher of her book Influence Through Voice has been published by McGraw-Hill. And I am sure that after listening to her story and how you can create success in your individual lives, in your daily day-to-day routine, you will take some golden nuggets out of this particular interview. So without further ado, let's welcome Cynthia Zhai. Hello, Cynthia.
Hi, Arif.
How are you? Good morning.
Good morning. I am feeling very well.
First of all, Cynthia, thank you so much for sparing out time and willing to share your wisdom with us. The first question, so we'll just dive right into this. Influence through voice. That's your book. That's your published book. So tell me how you got inspiration, or from where you got the inspiration of writing that particular book.
Okay. The inspiration mainly came from my work with my clients. And when I helped my clients to work on their voice and they started to become more confident, they started to bring more influence on people around them. And from there, that's where I realized this is something that I want to pass on. It was very interesting because one day I remember I got out of the subway. And as I was walking, I didn't know where that message came from. It was just came to my mind. It says, oh my God, if I don't write my book, no one would know the secret to their voices if I die. So I thought, okay, then I have to write it down. And so that's where the final idea came to put into words.
Wow. Okay. So if you like you said that the main idea came from by observing around you and looking that how someone can influence someone through their voice, or for that matter themselves. What is that voice? So for you, what is that voice?
For me, it's actually not only for me, but also for my clients and for people who want to improve their voices. There are two things we need to work on in order to have more influence through our voice. One is the physical voice, which is the voice mechanism, how we project our voice, whether your voice is powerful or soft or with small volume. So that's the physical voice. And then the other one is to align your physical voice with who you are, which is your authentic voice. That's the metaphorical voice. So these are the two areas that I have developed myself over the years. And that's also how I help my clients to develop their voices.
Wow. Okay, wonderful. So in this alignment, let me ask you another question. So you know that the entire global economy has been disrupted, and people have started self-doubting themselves. So if you have to give one suggestion or one advice to the people, so how this right now your book is relevant for them, what would it be?
There are two things that will help them. The first thing is that they need to listen to the voices around them. They need to listen to the voices around them, because people around you, they will tell you how you can help them. So for example, some of my clients, they are entrepreneurs. They said, oh, in this pandemic, in this economic crisis, my business is in crisis. And then how can I help? How can I improve? How can I work on my business? So I always tell them, listen to the voices around you. Your customers, your potential customers will tell you what they need. So that's the first step. And then the second step, once you know what they need, how you can help, then you have to get your message out. So the book will help you to get your message out with a powerful voice that people can hear.
Perfect, perfect. So that is on the business side, that there are two voices. The one is the customer side, and then the other one is how you get your message out that you can deliver what they are asking for. So that is
Yes.
particular for the business line, or business side, or the potential client side. If in this particular order, if I ask you that what are those strategies or behaviors that as an individual
Mm,
someone can find success in their daily lives after reading your book,
yes.
so what would be those behaviors or those strategies from your end?
Yes. So even if our viewers who are looking, they don't run a business, even if they are running their home, even if they are working for a company, the strategies apply as well. So number one is that if you work for a company, or if you're looking for a new job, like some of my clients, then you have to understand what are they looking for? What are they seeking need for?
Exactly.
So once you know what they are looking for, once you know how you can help, then you are going to work on your voice. When you, for example, if you are working for a company, you need to make sure in meetings you are heard. Your message, your ideas are being heard. And in this book, I provide you with skills, techniques that you can develop to help you get your voice heard.
Hmm. Can you share any one of them? Like, if that would
Yes.
be really kind of you, because as you said, that there is a huge percentage of people who are right now roaring to go into the corporate, or they have just started their career, and
Mm,
coming from a country where there is 40 plus percent 40 plus percent of people who are youth and who are just going out into the corporate world right now. If you
mm.
can share one strategy of how they can make their voice heard, or how they translate or communicate their ideas to the upper management, what should it be?
Okay, first of all, I want to comment on 40% of the population is youth. That's very hopeful.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's very exciting as well.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
very vibrant so the companies, right, in Pakistan are very vibrant for that particular reason,
Mhm. Yes.
because there's a lot of youth coming in and having good exposure of
Mm.
their academia side. But then there is a side of the corporate runs in their own way, right? So if
Mhm.
a youth wants to bridge the gap between those through
Yes.
influencing of their voices, what should they do? Like, what should be
Yes.
that bridge?
Yeah. So what they can do is, number one, whenever they are, be it going for a job interview, be it working inside of the company, the first important element is confidence.
Hmm.
Confidence. And how do we speak with confidence? There are a few things that they can do. Number one is, to be confident, you need to relax. So which may sound easy, or which may sound surprising,
Hmm.
because when you are relaxed, the best voice comes from the most relaxed body. The
Hmm.
best voice comes from the most relaxed body. So if you want to sound more confident, sound more powerful with a stronger voice, then the first step is to relax. And there are many ways that we can relax, including physically and mentally to relax. So one of the best and simplest exercises they can do is to just sigh. Sigh like, so for
Take a
example,
deep
before
breath
you
and
go,
exhale.
yes, yes. before you go into an important interview or important meeting, you can do a sigh before you walk into the room so that you can release the tension and prepare you for the best voice. So that would be the first thing they can do to make a sigh. And then two, yes. And then two is when they start to speak, they need to pay attention to their voice, that it is not speaking with a volume that's not consistent. So for example, some people, they started to speak, and then as they started to get nervous, their voice started to get smaller and smaller. So if you're speaking in that way, which is your voice is dying down towards the end of the sentence, you are not going to project confidence. To make sure when you're speaking, you want to speak with consistent volume. So that's the second thing.
So technically the pitch and the tone and the variation of it.
Not necessarily on that, but it's more about your breath is consistent, your volume is consistent, so that the sound is not dying down as you get nervous.
Okay.
Like what I demonstrated.
Yes. And you did it brilliantly, by the way. Okay. And what after that? Like so how to close that? Because when we talk about the book Influence through Voice, so there has to be a closure, because there's a word influence in that, right? So you take a deep breath, you sigh, you make sure that the breath is normal paced, and it's not dying down. But how you end it, how you close it up, because that's where the influence comes in, isn't it?
Yes. So that would be the third point, which you were just also mentioning on do we vary the tone, vary the pitch? We don't. In order to have influence, whether you influence them to hire you or you influence other people to take action, influence comes from authenticity. Authenticity. So the third thing is authenticity. So how do we protect authenticity? It is that you are confident in being who you are. And that can also, the authenticity can also comes from some physical practice. For example, if you are speaking in meetings, in presentations, in interviews, make sure that you are grounded. Grounded. How do we get ourselves grounded physically? If you're sitting, put your feet on the floor. Put your feet 2 feet. Feel the floor. And then your butt also feels the support from the seat. So when you are more grounded, you are more centered. You are more centered in being who you are, so that you can speak with authenticity. So you don't vary your tones, vary your pitches. If you do that, like what I'm demonstrating now, it becomes inauthentic.
So there's a complete science. Yes, that's a complete science of your body language and how you are grounded and centered towards being authentic on those lines. Thank you, Cynthia, for that. So one of my last questions regarding this particular thing is that if an organization wants to implement your strategies or your behaviors, as you mentioned, there are few body structure, positions, postures, and few variations, and how you move forward with that. If an organization wants to amalgamate that in their culture, what should they do? What is the blueprint of it, or any helicopter view around that?
Okay, sure. So there are a few things they can do. And the very first thing that I'm going to suggest them to do, they will hate me for that.
No, they won't.
The very first thing I want them to do, their employees will hate. So the very first thing I want them to do is, whenever there is important presentation or important meetings, I suggest them to record their employees giving presentations, speaking in important meetings, because that is only for their own internal reference. will not share with the outside world.
Yes.
So the reason is, if you want to improve your voice, you must listen to yourself.
Yes.
So most of the times people will get surprised. 99% of the population will get surprised. What? The recorded one, is that me? Then we started to blame the recorder. There must be something wrong with the recorder.
True that. Because
yes.
because being as a corporate trainer, I make a lot of videos for my clients, and there are certain times where once the video is recorded, I feel very confident that I've done a pretty good job, and then the cameraman just rewinds it and plays it for me, and I can tell you for sure that it's not up to the mark, and there are so many flaws, and we have to do it all over again. So yeah, that's one thing, the recording part.
Yes.
But I will suggest that before someone like records their employees, they should sign a confidential document on those lines.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So that would be helpful. So the reason they want to record themselves is so that you can hear how you sound to others, because the recorded voice is how others hear you. So you think about it, if you don't want to listen, how much suffering people around you have been experiencing. So you have to hear that first before you ask other people to suffer. So that would be the first thing I would recommend the companies do if you want them to improve their voices. Because sometimes corporates, they came to me, they said, oh, I want my certain employee to realize how terrible their voices are. But how do I tell them? That's how you tell them. You record record them, and then play it for them. So that will be the first thing.
Let me throw you a curveball. Because I have met certain people, even after giving them coaching, or even after giving them feedback around that how they are speaking or how they're interacting with their client, they can get better at it. They refuse. There are some of those who refuse that they don't need any work and they are perfectly fine. How to deal with them then?
Then you ask them, have you asked your clients, your colleagues, how they feel about the way you're speaking? If you haven't, then you want to look at the results. How many clients want to keep relationship with you? How many clients trust you?
Oh, yes.
Because you may think is good, but the result may tell otherwise.
Yes, because the basic factor is bringing in business, bringing in clients, and the rapport building, the relationship management. And if that particular person is in the industry for a year or so even, and if they do not have clients who can trust them, then there is an issue in their authenticity and their voice. That's what you're trying to say?
Yes. Because I have clients who speak of it with a very loud voice, and they believe that they are very effective, they are very powerful. But guess what? They started to receive feedback from people who dare to tell them, saying that, oh, why are you so angry? Or why are you so aggressive? So they heard this feedback so much, and then they started to think, maybe I should work on my voice. Before that, they didn't realize. They thought they are very powerful. They are okay.
So with that, my last question for this particular interview, and first, so thank you. Lastly, thank you for sharing your time and these specific insights or strategies of how someone can become better. And all the audience who would be listening or who are listening right now, you need to grab on to the book of Cynthia, that is Influence Through Voice. And I am sure you can have multiple strategies and multiple insights of how you can influence through your voice and through your body postures, and make sure that you are expressing authenticity on that. So please grab a hold of that particular book. So, Cynthia, lastly, what's next for you? Because I know you have written another book. I won't mention the name right now, but what's next for you in terms of writing or anything else? What are you aspiring
Yes.
right now?
So one, in terms of writing, I am writing this third and fourth book, because the
Wow.
third and fourth book, they are very closely related. So
Uh-huh.
I can write them both at the same time. So
Okay.
that's in terms of writing. And then because I am a speaker, I am a coach. So the next step for me is to continue coaching, continue speaking, so
Mhm.
that I can help more people realize if they have a message, they can get that message out with a powerful voice.
Hmm. And I hope, thank you for that, Cynthia. And I hope that in near future, we can virtually or physically, we can invite you to Pakistan for our audience, and you can share that your knowledge, your wisdom with our people, and I'm sure they will have benefit. They'll reap benefit out of that talk particularly. I certainly hope on that.
Yes,
So thank you, Cynthia. Thank you
thank you.
for sharing your time and talking and interviewing with us. And with that, we are ending another episode of Success Lab. I hope the audience who are listening to this particular interview, you gain some insights, you gain some wisdom, or some strategies of how you can be more authentic in your speech, in your voice, and in your meetings if you really want to achieve success. Remember, the voice of the customers and the feedback of the customers still remains at number one position. Until next time, thank you so much. This is Dr. Arif Pyarali signing off, a Success Lab powered by Learning Minds. Until next time, take care. God bless.